Kalista is available. Jungwoo Ji down in that bottom lane.
Surprising, right? The Ezreal left open, and that would typically be the thing you expect to see, but no. Rogue Warriors going for the aggressive option, which is what I like. Haro back in the lineup, and we're already seeing Rogue Warriors draft kind of mirror that.
We could see a Nidalee for the second time today. It's certainly a pick that Kanavi could control the game on himself. It's exactly what we saw in our first series out of Lien. And it is going to be locked in here. So JDG immediately come into this series and say, look, we are going to play around Kanavi again.
Yeah, it's really, really interesting. Obviously, Nidalee was a pick Kanavi showed before and looked really well on. Makes you wonder if they were kind of watching in the break room and said, hey, that looks strong. That looked good.
Hey, I
Let's
can play
try
that
that.
champion.
Yeah, exactly.
I've played that before. Let's give it a go. Volibear going to come on through as well. And you're expecting this to go up towards Zoom. He has already played it this split. But let's bear in mind, there is the potential. We've seen it a tiny bit in support.
Yep, and I will say the one time you're allowed to use the statements bear in mind is when we do have a bear on the Rift. So
I get a free pass on that one.
You get
when
the
there's
free
a
pass
bear.
much, yeah, when there's a bear.
Because there is a bear in my mind.
Exactly. And, you know, we've obviously only seen it top and jungle, but I wouldn't be too surprised if we ever ended up seeing it go towards mid or support in the LPL. We are the region that obviously is willing to do those kinds of shenanigans, and Rogue Warriors now bringing some carry potential in the jungle as well. Hopefully, Haro can fare a lot better than we saw last game. And now we have the set coming out. Obviously going to be a flex pick, can go any of the 3 lanes left available.
Now, I don't know the top lane matchups that well, but I'd imagine Set does decently well into Volibear, just because you do have a bit of sustain, so you can withstand the poke that comes out from the passive. But the Ezreal locked in here for Loken is going to be the pickup here, and a Jack span makes me think that JDG don't expect that Set in the top lane.
Yeah, and it makes sense. I would still expect it to be Volibear favored. He has more tools in the short trades and can obviously get away from the Haymaker from Set quite easily.
Also, not to mention, Kalista and Set is also an incredibly good bot lane duo.
Really strong, but you know, over on the side of Rogue Warriors, right, we're setting up for skirmishes, we're setting up for team fights, so we have engaged tools available. On the side of JDG, it is going to be this more tempo-based style playing through Nidalee's clear speed as we saw last game, but we also have elements of poke coming out from the Ezreal as well.
Zir going to be banned away from Ruby here. We saw earlier that is one of his top picks, as well as that Syndra. And the Zoe is going to be the answer taken away from Yagao here. Now towards the support pick. I mean, Yuumi is available, but Yuumi has not been the favorite today.
Yeah, we do not care about Yuumi for some reason, which we didn't in the first week either, if you remember thinking back, and it would suit their comp very well. Just thinking about Volibear with Yuumi on top of him sounds really intense, but the Karma would also work quite well if they did want to full commit to that poke style, but instead, no, they want to put more engage in their composition.
Look at that win rate on LeBlanc, right? On
Leona.
Sorry, Leona right now. 77%. That is pretty nuts.
It is to be said that we don't see it as common as we used to, right? Nautilus, definitely a higher priority. Thresh and Bard as well. But still, I mean, right now, you can assume JDG is going to win the game just based off that 80% win rate on Leona.
Yeah, it's feeling pretty good so far. As a Karma is going to be locked in on the side of Rogue Warriors.
And this is probably going towards the mid lane for Ruby, right? You don't expect to see a Kalista Karma bot lane.
So I wasn't sure because they were hovering a Taric before. It looks like they are sending this set towards the top lane here.
Yeah,
Bit of
which
a flex around.
Still going to be very interesting. We still have a comp that wants to brawl, right? We have a ton of engage coming out from Nautilus. The Karma going to supplement Set being able to run in. Also going to do quite well with double marksman. So a ton of DPS coming out from the side of Rogue Warriors.
So now we'll see what Lumao is going to lock in for the final pickup here.
Ooh.
Kiana comes through for Yagao here. Not something I was expecting to see today, it has to be said.
No, and you're definitely going to struggle in the laning phase up against the Karma. This is a pick that a lot of our mid laners still play a lot in solo queue. I see Knight play this champion a lot. Rookie plays it sometimes. Angel as well. But we obviously haven't seen it in competitive play in a long time because it takes a long time to come online. And JDG kind of giving similar vibes to what we just saw with a very different composition.
Yeah, it feels like a composition that they're kind of like feeling out themselves. Maybe some comfort picks across the board. I'm really curious what Yagao is going to be doing on this Kiana.
Well, it's also very different because, think about it, last game we had the Nidalee work so well because you had this constant pressure coming out from the set with him hovering. Kiana's not going to have a pressure up against the Karma. She's going to just be able to constantly throw out mantra Qs, going to be able to keep her at arm's length with the W and then just eing away herself. So I don't quite know how this Nidalee is going to work. And when you have a melee AD assassin / bruiser like Kiana, you want to look for 2v2s. You want to constantly be trading and working with your jungler. And Nidalee versus Qiyana is obviously a very weird pairing. Sure, you have the CC coming out from if you get the water element, but it's not very guaranteed, right?
We'll have to see. I mean, they could look towards the team fights later on. Obviously, Qiyana, fantastic if you're fighting around things like the Baron, the ultimate, the Supreme Display of Talent. Does so much work. But once again, we do have a Volibear here, this time in the matchup against that set in the top lane. And we'll see what Holder can do up against Zoom, and whether Zoom can return to the form we saw back in spring.
Yeah, ultimately, though, I like what Rogue Warriors have put together. Once again, we have very solid 5v5. They're going to have pressure in the mid lane, so Haro definitely going to have a lot better of a time than we saw XX having last game. And then we're going to have pressure in the bottom side, and hopefully, unlike LNG, the fact that Rogue Warriors get this Kalista will equate to some kind of bot lane pressure.
Rogue Warriors moving on in here, but they're spotting on the ward. They are going to sweep it, so they'll be fine. But ultimately, they're just going to be looking to get some vision of their own on this blue buff, or potentially commit to a play here. They are sticking around.
And it's because Qiyana is such a weak level 1 champion. You really need to hit level 3 before you can deal anything at all. And sure, Nidalee's pretty good because obviously you have your spears, but Rogue Warriors just feeling confidence in their level 1 against JDG. Just going to get some vision and then back off. Oh no, actually, they want to keep going.
It looks like Kanavi is going to respect the potential here, moves up towards the top side instead. So I don't think we'll see anything come out of this level 1 shenanigans out of Rogue Warriors. And hey, I mean, great from JDG, right? We call them the smartest team in the league back in spring. Feeling like they're still living up to that.
But at the same time, when you do cut the map in half like this, it always opens up for potential plays on the bottom side, which when you have a Kalista Nautilus, you're going to have Prio in the mid lane. Maybe we're looking at an early bot lane dive from Rogue Warriors.
It's possible. And hey, we mentioned how Harrow coming back into this roster. So far in summer, Rogue Warriors have not been the brawlers that we knew back in spring, but Harrow was a huge driving force behind that playstyle. Maybe with him back on this team again, we could see more of that. We are seeing a bit of a brawl down in the bottom lane as Logan and Luma winning that trade pretty handedly.
Yep, just great trade coming out from Luma. Remember, when we saw this matchup a lot in spring, Nautilus versus Leona, Leona, especially as she levels up, gets all 3 of those abilities, going to be innately tankier than the Nautilus since her shield does give resistances as compared to Nautilus, who's is just an HP shield. So we should expect to see more trades like that, but obviously Kalista gonna be very strong as well, and I like that we're seeing Rogue Warriors off to an aggressive start.
Yeah, I like that they are making things happen, like not just sometimes in the LPL, and honestly, not even just in the LPL, sometimes in League of Legends we see when a team isn't the favorite, they come in kind of with their head already bowed, and it's almost like they've accepted defeat before the game ever began. And I'm really hoping that across the course of this series, that's not the version of Rogue Warriors we see. With Harrow on the lineup, with the way that they've started this game off, I don't think it will be.
And here is this early dive we talked about with the trade side. They obviously have a ton of damage coming out from the Graves, and the Karma Shield is going to be so valuable as well.
Let's go. Let's see what Rogue Warriors have for us as they're going to go for this level 3 dive, just trying to force this wave in. Bear in mind, Jungwoo on this Kalista will be able to stack these Rens on in. The flash forwards. Logan surviving for now, but he's going to drop, and this is going to be both kills, although Wooji will pay for it with his life. In fact, it's Shunyu, sorry, that does go down here. Wooji has to flash away.
Overall, though, JDG's bot lane losing out on some CS and XP. We're getting kills onto the Kalista, and this is why you pick Kalista, Munch. I love the trade side as well. The Nidalee obviously not going to work in the same way when Rogue Warriors are the ones with mid-pressure.
Yagao wants to answer, though.
Oh, Jungwooji's.
Here's a TP, though. Ruby is here to answer the situation and make sure that Jungwooji's okay.
Yeah, kind of awkward that Ruby had to blow that, but of course, Jungwoo needs to be able to push that wave in to get the bounce back when he returns to lane. And you know, the fact that you're Karma mid, I don't think the lane state matters too much in the sense that you can always control that with your mantra Qs and getting it into tower whenever you want, especially against a melee matchup like the Qiyana.
I mean, it's not exactly like Yagao can zone Ruby away, because you stand close enough to zone him away, he's just going to auto you over and over again, throw out those mantra Qs, and just give you a hard time. Harrow now moving back into the JDG jungle as this bottom half of the map just completely belongs to Road Warriors. games.
Yeah, and again, I like what Rogue Warriors put together this draft. I love the game plan we see so far and going to play off of Jung Wooji's aggression. And this is why we wanted Haro back in the roster, because he's the one that defined their style in playing this aggressive dive style. I still remember in their first matchup, I think it was against E-Star in Spring, we saw right away it was Pantheon Talia, level 2 dive bot. Absolutely beautiful. It's so fun to watch for Rogue Warriors, and I hope it keeps going forward and we see them snowball this Kalista.
That series back in Spring was so much fun as well. E-Star against Rogue Warriors. It was just like, okay, both of these teams look like brawlers that could have huge standings here. Holder's in trouble in the top lane. Zoom nearly finding himself a kill already in the lane.
Yeah, Brawlers is a good way to explain it, and Holder now luckily does have that TP.
All right, JDG want to answer for the dive we saw before. Shunyu drops like a sack of potatoes. Easy peasy for JDG.
And this is JDG realizing that they're never going to find a natural window through abusing Cryos to set up this dive. So we see Yagao just completely ignore mid lane, right? He just gave up a wave. We saw Ruby push it in. He heads straight bot with Kanavi, and they are able to find one kill.
I thought Kanavi was going to start the Dragon off there. He's just going to recall, realizes he doesn't have priority in the mid lane, and it's not the best time for them to just try and force the issue on this one. Although, speaking of the mid lane, Kanavi's moving in. Harrow has spotted him, and I think that's going to deter the 2v2.
Still, it's actually pretty surprising that Yagao is winning in CS. I'm guessing it's coming off that earlier TP and even the roam before that we saw, but...
Yeah, I mean, we saw the wave state when Ruby TP'd, so a lot of his minions will have just died to the minion wave during that time.
And we do saw that he did recall right after that, right? He didn't actually walk straight back mid.
Oh yeah, really good stuff from Yagao. And, you know, this is the pick that you have to wonder about, because we don't see Qiyana all too often right now.
Never. We never see Qiyana, right?
Shunyu predicted that they're there, did find the dredge line. Lumao, though, going to flash forward for the play. In with the supreme display of talent. And look at the burst out of this roster from JDG. Now forward onto Harrow as well. Kanavi, with a little bit of healing, keeps himself safe. They're trying to finish these kills off. But Ruby with the shield keeps Harrow alive.
Look, I was skeptical of the Qiyana pick, but when you can hit supreme displays of talents like that, that shows why this pick was worth it. And I guess why Yagao had the confidence to pick it. And you're going to need to keep hitting those if you want this pick to actually work.
But hey, with JDG able to set that one, and it felt like they were kind of baiting Rogue Warriors into the fight to some extent.
I mean, I don't know about that because Shunyu, of course, first of all, predicting they were there to begin with. But overall, JDG obviously wanted the fight when Lumao did flash in after that.
He clearly predicted someone was there. I don't think he was expecting quite as many opponents there as he found.
That's true, but at the same time, I don't know if I'd consider it a bait because they don't have the information, or maybe that's the bait, right? It's like 5D chess. They are mind gaming the enemy to mind game themselves.
Hey, all I'm saying is they're the smartest team in the LPL. Okay,
Larry. Oh god.
Let's just take a moment though to visit this bottom lane scoreboard, because Shunyu, we mentioned, very much a rookie. He's having a hard time. We've got some serious battles in that top lane. Even when not that much happens out of the brawl, at least it looks cool.
I also want to say that we see Zoom pick up a Bramble Vest before starting Triforce, which with how expensive and how long it takes to get that item, you wonder if he's going to go for it at all in the end. You would expect so, but still, yeah, another adaptation from the Volibear build that we've seen.
Yeah, there was it might have been Zoom that I saw that went for a Balmy Cinder first on the Volibear and then went 2 damage items after that. So we still I mean, that's one of the exciting things about this Volibear, honestly, is that we are seeing so much experimentation of how this pick should be played.
Yep. Still obviously going to take some time before there's maybe a consensus on what is the best way of playing it and, you know, what situations.
I mean, honestly, who knows if we'll ever get a consensus, because let's bear in mind, LPL is the only region that plays Renekton regularly, and we can't even decide on a correct build for him.
God, that hook was beautiful.
Lumao was caught, but he's kind of fine, and Shunyu went way too deep for this one. Has to flash out himself. Loken happy to keep following, though. Essence Flux is there, and a supreme display of talent and a half right there. Wuji's low. Spear's not going to hit them.
We're going to keep going.
Ruby's here as
might
well.
be able to get this.
I don't know if they can finish Kanavi. Yes, they can. Collateral damage is going to be there as Lumao goes in on this Leona, and Yagao might just be able to pick up a couple of kills here because everybody's low, and you do not want to go against a fed Qiyana.
Yeah, overall, JDG playing well, making use of these very aggressive skirmishing picks. And let's walk back and say that started off with a very beautiful full-range dredge line. That was a great hook. Then going in with the Kalista ultimate, not the best idea.
Yeah, like that Kalista ultimate was a way out. Shunyu was like, this is my moment.
This is my moment.
This is how I make my name.
This is how I stay in the LPL.
I thought it was going to be a Shunyu pro view then.
Oh, God. And then, you know, he's low. Supreme display of talent locks him down. It is nice to secure one kill. Great job from Ruby. We did highlight him coming into this match. Roams over, sets up the kill for Haro, and then Jung Wooji going a bit forward.
Oh, hang on. Holder's in trouble in the top lane. Pulls him over the wall, but Zoom can follow that one. Thunder Bear over the wall, and Haro now in a 1v1 with Kanavi, but a lot of wall hopping in this fight as Lumao is going to arrive. Kanavi should be able to survive this one. Karma, not a ton of damage.
Poor Ruby. That's all I want to say. Ruby's been doing his best. Ruby's been doing a good job roaming bot lane, going for the dive, setting up for his teammates.
Ruby's on damage control this game.
TP's in. He's kind of on damage control this split.
That's true.
I mean, I feel like Haro's been having an alright game as well. But overall, Holder is getting absolutely destroyed in top lane by Zoom, which is great if you're a JDG fan and someone who wants to see them return to form. And on the side of Rogue Warriors in bot lane, Shunyu is not having a good game. But let's remember, guys, he's only ever played one split of LDL.
Yeah.
So
this
gonna be tough.
He's very much the new guy on the block, and also he's against the spring champions. So let's give him a game or two before we make any abrupt decisions about this.
I feel like you don't get a game or two. I feel like you deserve a full split, right? But before you,
let's give him a split or two.
I mean, oh God, pushing you, put in a very rough position to come into a team with no wins, and Lei has a ton of experience. Let's remember that as well. Lei could have been a big voice on this team. Of course, has played in the LPL before and been on teams been in the Royal organization. So,
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. The way that hang on, we got a fight going on here. Lumao's gonna face check this Brush. He is tanky and dodges everything as well. Depth charge onto Kanavi. True Shot Barrage hits nobody. Lumao flashes away. Goodbye, Shunyu, once again. Now onto the rest of the lineup. Ruby once more hung out to dry by his team. Flash from Kanavi to finish it, and Wooji goes down as well.
I mean, at this point, this is just a massacre. But for JDG, it's looking good. Kanavi's had a great Nidalee, so now we have two great Nidalee performances. Teams that play around their junglers really showing up. Also, two very interesting compositions today really working out. And we've seen a lot of great Supreme display of talents from Yagao. I'm going to be honest, I'm still not sold on Kiana as a pick. I don't know if I really want to see it too often.
No.
It feels like it would not be able to work out against a good team, but it worked out here today.
It feels like this was like, hey, let's just have some fun here today, because JDG are well and truly in control of this game. 6,000 goal lead at just under 13 minutes. Look at the bottom lane right now. Logan and Lumao both have 8 assists each.
Yeah, and once again, we move up to Holder, just getting destroyed by Zoom.
So I was maybe wrong about this matchup. I don't know how well Set does into Volibear at this point. Or do you think this is a Zoom Holder thing more than a Set Volibear thing?
My guess is it's, you know, both. It's a mix of the two, right? The fact that he also rushed the Bramble Vest is definitely more of a lane-centric thing.
I like this from Rogue Warriors, though. Hey, still being proactive. They get themselves a red buff. And Shunyu goes a little bit too deep for it. He's going to go down once again. That wasn't worth it. Jung Wooji caught out by Yagao. Oh, it's all over already for Rogue Warriors. In comes Yagao to finish that one off. Ruby rooted up. Double kill came through for Kanavi. Not the best True Shot Barrage, but you know what? It doesn't matter. There's a triple on the Nidalee. Kitty got claws, and it's 15 kills already for JDG.
And it's going to be a 16th. Let's be honest, Mudge Holder has no chance.
He's got to hold on to his life if he can. There's 3 minions still going to be there to tank the tower. They don't even need to tank the tower. Zoom's invincible.
And, you know, let's be honest. I'm going to be real with you. I'm going to spit some truth, Munchables.
Do it.
When you're already
truth bombs.
When you're already 5K gold behind, I actually don't mind Rogue Warriors just running into JDG's jungle and trying to force something to happen because, right, you are now presented with 2 options. Do you bleed out and lose, or do you go for some kind of crazy play that JDG would never predict, hope they go, oh God, why is this team that's losing 5K in our jungle, and you know maybe Rogue Warriors aces them and they come back into the game. So I stand with Rogue Warriors on that play.
We stand Rogue Warriors here at the LPL. I like it, man. Like, you know what? They will not go meekly into the night. Shunyu, he tried his best, but Kanavi jumped.
Let's all put Fs in chat for our boy Shunyu trying his best. But overall, again, Rogue Warriors, on a serious note, are not in a good position. There's really no plays available for them when they're in this position. Their top side is losing. Their bot side is losing. Their mid lane, which should have been a constant point of pressure, is now falling behind because the Kiana is 5-0. So you are looking for coin flips, you're looking for Hail Marys, and you're hoping something sticks.
I mean, Holder didn't really get to do much about that one. This is now just... JDG gets it. This is JDG when they all queue up to play Clash together.
Please.
This is what happens.
Please don't do that to Rogue Warriors.
What else am I meant to say here, Lyric? Look at the scoreboard.
I feel like the game says enough, and there's not much else that needs to be said.
Unfortunately, it's my job to continue speaking in this situation, so I gotta say something, man. And none of it is particularly...
Hey!
Ruby!
You know, Lumao might have missed that ult, but no. Ruby dodged that ult.
Ruby sidesteps it, predicts the solar flare.
Ruby looking beautiful.
And this is why we highlighted him at the start of the series. Truly a standout player.
Oh, we get a chance. Zoom mate. Oh, there's a siren. I've actually never seen this.
Yeah, the policeman volley bear. I can't remember what this kid's called. He's going to jump on out of this one. Depth charge is still going to get the knock-up, though. He's tanky. Flashes away to safety. And Kanavi's here as well. They're going to turn this one around. Holder can't get out with his life. And Kanavi's going to continue to chase because the rest of the squad are on their way. They're going to close this gap. Kanavi has so much damage. Harrow tries to turn it around, finds one for himself, and there should be a second one as well. Zoom might just fall here as Harrow gets the double. Now Yagao has arrived, so's Lumao. They're going to try and shut this Graves down. In they go, and down he falls. Stun comes through onto Ruby, who's once again trying to play damage control, but there's just no control in JDG.
4 might have died, but Rogue Warriors pick up 2. They're keeping the hope alive for some fans out there, but ultimately, JDG are winning 9K gold in 17 minutes, and now they're going to get drifted out.
This is why I loved Rogue Warriors back in spring, right? Because you know what? They weren't the best team in the LPL, and I think that they were aware of that. I would hope they were because the standings told them so. But at least they don't give up. They're still going to go down fighting. They're still going to take you on, and they're going to give us an entertaining game.
And let's also remember with, you know, moving back into game, that wherever JDG go, they also have a range advantage coming out from their Nidalee and Ezreal. So it's even going to be hard for Rogue Warriors to ever try to look for a Hail Mary type play and engage onto JDG if Loken and Kanavi are there, because they can just give you half HP before you even get on an objective.
Yeah. It's going to be difficult for Rogue Warriors. I can definitely agree with that. Shunyu, I don't know if there's much you can do about this one. Maybe there is, because Harrow's arrived as well, but the Blast Cone is going to mean that Kanavi gets away with his life here. Rogue Warriors kind of reset a little bit. They've still got all of their tier 2s right now.
I do want to say, as a larger discussion, that I feel like putting a player in a situation they're not ready for too early can definitely harm their development. And it's really going to come down to Rogue Warriors' coaching staff on how Shunyu is molded as a player going forward, right? Because you come in, if you end up having performances like this every game, which isn't really your fault that you were thrown into the deep end too soon, like, look at W with Shinx, right? They're taking their time. They have him shadowing Teachama, like, learning the system. Feels like the right way to go about it. Shinx is someone who has also only played 1 split. Shunyu's going to really need to rely on people like Hoon in the Rogue Warriors organization.
He's going to be relying on his teammates right now just to survive. Hey. And you know what? They come on through. Wuji saves the day. Not so lucky for Ruby, though, in the meantime. And it's going to be 1-for-1 here. But Loken jumps over the wall by himself to keep this fight going. JDG will stop at nothing. And that turret sure as hell can't stop him. Harrow, the only survivor.
We're diving inhibitors at 19 minutes.
There are no survivors.
There's nothing else to say to that much. There's no survivors. They're diving inhibitors. Loken just eat over the wall into all of Rogue Warriors and ultimately didn't even end up mattering.
Yeah, I mean, you know that you're pretty far ahead when at 19 minutes, your Ezreal can arcade shift into the whole enemy team and be fine about it.
Listen to me right now. If, you know, you might not always get the best League of Legends. It might not always be two top teams out macroing each other or the best mechanical plays, but you always get some damn fun and exciting League of Legends. And one thing you got to say about this game, it is bringing you on an emotional journey.
That's one way of wording it. You get a one-shot some. But then, hey, good answer from
But
Rogue
keep
Warriors.
your eyes on Loken, because that's the fun part. Just ease over into 4 members of Rogue Warriors. But all of Rogue Warriors have no damage. All of JDG have like a 1.5 item advantage. They get to dive pretty much the Nexus, actually, and Haro goes down in the end.
Shunyu got himself a 2nd kill of the game. 2nd most kills on the whole team, by the way.
Participated in 5 out of 6 kills.
All I'm saying is Shunyu, arguably one of the best players on the team right now. If by arguably you mean it is physically possible to argue at all.
He's had, I'd say, maybe a better impact than Holder. Maybe.
We're stretching here, aren't we?
I mean, Holder's not had a good time either this game.
No. I mean, let's be honest. Ruby's not had a good time either. Wuji's not had a particularly good time. It's almost like the score is 6-26. It's almost like the whole team's had a really bad time.
We're talking. This is what we love, though. They don't give up. They're looking for some kind of cheesy plays. Somehow they ended up on
I don't know
JDG's
how
side
we
of the
got
map.
here. How did this happen?
I don't know, but we're going to get something fun.
Nobody's going to face check into them. Oh, it couldn't have gone worse. Lumau's the one in, and he is happy to be exactly that. Stone plate popped. And now in comes Yagao as well. Can't quite get the ult he wants, as Shunyu is going to be the one to fall first. Yagao now gets onto the backline, and Ruby barely survives. It's going to be traded, though. And, you know, it could have gone worse. It could have gone worse here for Rogue Warriors. They are all going to die, but, you know.
You got a kill.
It could have been slightly more convincing from JDG.
No, I do want to say, as this game has progressed, I am less and less sold on the Kiana against 2 teams that are of similar skill.
Yeah. I mean, the longer this game has gone on, the more I feel like this was a little bit of a disrespectful draft from the side of JDG. I don't think that this was them drafting optimally. But I could be wrong.
Now the thing for Rogue Warriors is going to be it's going to be hard, actually. This part might be harder than the game. Is like keeping your head straight, like getting your mental sorted for game 2, and just kind of refreshing, saying, okay, guys, we need to think of what can work next game. Maybe pull out some crazier picks. Maybe pull out some off-meta things, whether it is like the Pantheon or Talia that we mentioned earlier, or something new entirely.
It's worth mentioning as well, like, this is actually very smart play from JDG. The way that they pathed on in, it meant that Lumau was guaranteed to be the first one to face check anything. So JDG acknowledging that, look, we have a huge lead here. The only way anything happens to Rogue Warriors is if we blunder. So let's just play this correctly and make sure that we aren't just going to give them anything for free.
I do want to say, though, even if this game was close, sure, Rogue Warriors' composition is a lot more put together. JDG have a ton of late game damage regardless. Kiana, again, a good late game assassin, can burst out Zhong Wuji. Loken, we've seen late game Ezreals. Kanavi and Zoom going to become big threats as well. And JDG once again looking for an engage. Zoom running forward as the bear uses that ultimate.
Fate's call cannot save you now because Zoom is on the way, jumps straight at them, and now they charge forward. Shunyu, unfortunately, is not going to go down. He actually survives on this one. Lumau now jumping in, pulled even further in, and Shunyu, heartbreakingly, is taken out at the end of the fight. Kanavi with a stopwatch to keep himself safe as JDG continue to just force their way into this base.
Yeah, and honestly, let's be honest, they're going to end the game. I don't know why I said honest twice, but the game's over. I don't know what's happening.
At least I know you're telling the truth now. That's what I was worried about in that sentence. 34-8. JDG, if nothing else, are coming out of this with great KDAs.
That was something else.
It was something. It was definitely something. JDG, you can see a little bit of a smirk on